Previously on Roleplay Radio.
This is a map of Redfell. Hundreds of years ago, it was founded as a tiefling city. And then at some point, humans started showing up, and that was fine. After, a century or two, the humans started acting different. Anti-tiefling. Eventually, this escalated to war. And that brings us to Redfell today, where there are very few tieflings, and we're segregated to a separate part of the city. The closer people get to Redfell, the worse that gets. If there is a single source of what's doing this, then it is here. She points at the epicenter of all of this. I think what's causing this is actually a Blood Age artifact belonging to either Golwanda or Xandra. We need someone who's good at identifying magical items and what they can do and how we can safely deactivate or just destroy it.
Right, I hate to say this, but if I go, am I going to be more of a liability than a help?
Gary, as you're waiting around with your friends, you can't help but want to clutch your coin purse a bit tighter. Mm-hmm. It's like a reflex, your hand is just there. Furthermore, anybody that you see walking down the street who isn't human, you can't help but feel like you need to keep their eyes on them at all times, otherwise they might do something the moment you turn your head. But we need to be careful. You and I, we need to look after each other. Turns out, changelings have been infiltrating us all along. We've found 7 so far.
What?
I'm sure there are others. They were given a proper sentence for their behavior, for their infiltration. Us silver trolls must protect our clan name. We will not let outsiders stain it. The ground begins to open up, and you see the faces of 2 dwarves looking up at you. One of them male, one of them female, presenting at least. Hi there. F-Squad, Vistra, Vonkar, Vistra, F-Squad. And they lead you down this tunnel that they then close up so that they don't leave the hole on the surface. So it immediately feels very claustrophobic. We found something kind of interesting and we didn't go deeper because fuck that.
Interesting how?
I think Vistra's like holding out a hand for everybody, so she takes your hand like, oh, who are you, handsome?
Oh, I'm Koss.
Oh.
Koss is going to consider briefly, and then they'll put on, the biggest smile that they can and just, change their face to match Vistra's and be like, pleasure to meet you, I'm a changeling. Oh. And then change their face back to how they were.
Oh. Interesting. So,
It's good shit.
So, we've reached the top of this bell tower.
The bell has fallen, but underneath it, it just, goes down.
There's a spiraling staircase that
Cool.
goes down. Yeah.
So, Mistake is investigating that to see, is this sturdy enough for us to walk down? Do I feel like this is going to collapse on us if we start to head down?
I won't make you roll for this. It looks sturdy enough that carefully you can make it down unless something were to mess with it. Unless somebody purposefully attacked or cast a spell or...
Why are you looking at me, bro?
Stairs down seem reasonably sturdy as long as nobody throws a fireball.
Yeah. Yeah.
To be fair, Grease would be just as bad.
That's fair. So,
I don't have that prepared today.
wonderful. So you're not going to accidentally grease the stairs somehow.
I will lead the way. Silver Tropes with me. And,
Koss steps up instinctually. No. Step back.
both Silver Tropes look at you like...
Silver Quill. It's similar.
That makes sense. Gary, can you roll another wisdom saving throw, please? This time it's 11.
17. Nice.
Once again, that little scratch at the back of your mind, that irritating little whisper, still there, and it's getting louder. Now it's like a bee or a hornet buzzing around you, and you might even be a little afraid of it, but once again, you're still in control.
You said Galvan's at the front?
Yeah.
Can Gary walk up to the front to talk to Galvan?
Absolutely.
Hey. Professor?
Yes.
Are you... I I don't know whether I should say hearing this or feeling this.
The tremor? He puts his hand on the wall. I mean, you heard the
No. It started above ground. Maybe you'll just use the city.
What are you talking about?
I don't really know how to quantify it. Something just doesn't feel right. I don't know, I feel very tense, but I mean, I can at least so far recognize when it's not for good reason.
Okay. You are... He puts a hand on your shoulder. You must stay strong, Gary. Stay with us, okay?
But okay, I'm kind of asking how you're coping with it. Because you are, right? You are coping with it.
Yes. Yes, no, of course. But, Gary...
Can I roll an insight on that?
Sure. That one.
Okay, yeah, I have a lot of faith in you.
Of course, Gary. Gary, you must understand. I was born and raised in Redfell. Let's just say that sometimes, things are out of our control.
That doesn't sound helpful.
No, right.
It sounds really
Sorry,
bad.
Sorry. What I meant to say is that sometimes willpower triumphs over any supernatural thing that might be
Right.
looking to
Okay.
affect you, okay? Willpower, which is just willpower.
Right, okay, that makes sense.
Yes. As for how I cope with it, well, I don't know. I've seen enough of the world and life outside of Redfell to know there are bigger things to worry about than... I don't know, Gary. I'm sorry. Perhaps someday I can explain better and you can understand.
Sure. I mean, I guess, if we aren't particularly successful here, I don't really want to come back.
That's probably for the best. And right about then, the earth begins to tremble again. Once again, everyone freezes. But then it gets stronger all of a sudden. So strong that rocks and earth and debris begin falling from up top of the bell tower. And you just hear the silver tropes say, "Hang on tight to the edges!" I'm gonna need everybody to roll a dexterity saving throw, please.
I got an 11.
I got a 5.
27.
Good,
Yeah.
I saw the nat 20 and I was like, yup.
Yup.
I kind of picture Mistake doing one of like the all limbs on the walls, like fuck the,
Spider-Man.
like the Spider-Man.
If there's a railing for the stairs, her tail's just hooked around
Yeah.
the railing.
That's obviously the rifle ball beam bubble.
Griffin Cost, you hang on to each other. You manage to find your footing and maybe grab onto the railing, which is just sturdy enough that you're able to move with the earth. Gary, unfortunately, you feel the stair underneath your feet comes loose from the wall. And the rest of you just see Gary vanish as his stair gives in.
Fuck.
You just-
Fuck.
Yes?
I have a feather fall umbrella.
Oh, shit. Nice.
He starts falling.
He starts falling.
And this is like, hooked into his belt, and he's just like, and he kind of pulls it out and like gets it open.
Yeah, you guys all see this as Gary is doing the Mary Poppins, slowly, gently going down the center of the spiraling staircase.
Is there a decal on the umbrella?
Ooh.
Is it Gary's little brand logo?
With the goatee?
The goatee?
Let's go with yes. And it's luminescent, it's glow in the dark, so that you can definitely see it.
And you're getting closer and closer to the bottom. Can you roll another wisdom saving throw for me, please?
They're gonna make me do a dex. I was like, I have an
No,
umbrella, man!
because you're getting closer and closer.
I'm so wise.
You're so in control.
Mindfulness.
Yay!
And that was the 12. It's only going to keep going up from here.
Elvan told him that willpower would save the day.
The adrenaline also really helped to just like ground you and focus.
So by the time the rest of you make it to the bottom of this tower, Gary's already there. and you all reunite. Mirsha is like, "Are you okay?"
I had the umbrella.
Yeah, I saw
so-
that. Good. Well, you know what? This is a bit more dangerous than I expected. Maybe we all stick together for now. We move as a unit. Yes?
Really more of a squad.
Sure, we move as a squad. That's fine. And as he's waving his pennant around,
Koss kind of like chuckles a little bit, knowing that Gary is okay. Koss is just like, huh, well, I guess I'm a bit jealous of you because I did always want to come to Redfell in the fall.
Wow! That's worse than mistakes jokes.
I know, I'm a bit jealous.
when you reach the bottom, as you can imagine, you're in an old dusty church attic space. There's a pipe organ that is decrepit, made of bone in the corner. And it's actually, as you get close, it's not even an organ the way you know an organ and a piano to look today. It looks more like a very old xylophone.
So does it look like a thing that you like hit mallets on though?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
that's cool.
And a few like old chairs and tables with really, really old cloth over it. And man, the air here is... As you can imagine, it is stuffy and claustrophobic, and there are spider webs everywhere.
How open is it?
It's pretty open now.
Okay, cool. Mistake's gonna summon Phoenix.
Beautiful. Rocks begin to tumble in a corner from the edges through the windows, and they just gather up in a pile as Phoenix wakes up. Where am I?
Very far underneath Redfell.
Oh, this is not what I expected when I heard we were going back home. Hi, the rest of you.
Hello, Phoenix.
Hi.
So where to now?
Well,
Who knows?
I sort of know-ish. I know roughly, triangulating everything, where the theoretical epicenter is. And I know roughly which direction that should be from here. So, that way.
And when you point, there's a pile of rubble that is basically encasing your way down. Which it is that way, but it's also down,
Yeah.
because there's a wall. So the Silver Trolls crack knuckles. We got it. Give us a couple minutes. And they just begin, both with their muscles and with their magic, moving the rubble around.
I like to think I helped a little by summoning Phoenix if you use some of those rocks.
Not a bad point.
How are you doing, Gary?
Things got weird for a minute.
How?
Felt very tense. Just kind of generally suspicious of everyone up on the surface. It kind of went away when we came in here though. Well, went away isn't really the right description. It became less prominent in the front of my mind.
You're kind of just pushing it back then, yeah.
Pretty much.
Okay, interesting that you notice it though.
I do notice it. I definitely notice it.
I wonder if part of that might be that you know to look for it.
I was wondering
Could
that
be.
too, if we brought someone who had no idea if they would notice anything.
It's
Griff, how are you doing? Is it?
I'm noticing it. It's fine.
Okay, also affects Leonin?
Griff is just immediately like, why are they just like cool with Gary and his edginess, and they were all jumping on me earlier, so that's why he's like reactive. It's fine. I'm good.
I've never heard of it affecting Leonin before, but maybe. I don't know.
But how many
just-
Leonin come to Redfell?
Generally
Not many.
irritable.
should we be worried about
that's-
Osric? He's up on the surface.
It's true, but he also comes here somewhat often. I feel like he would, if...
That's fair, much like the professor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it helps, there's one piece of advice I got a while ago that was, if you're having thoughts that you don't like, you shouldn't try to say that they're not yours, but they're also not you.
That makes sense.
So, you know.
Nice. Then you hear, "Hey nerds, tunnel's open." Thank you, Vistra. Thank you. You heard them, nerds.
Mistake's already going there.
Yep.
And as you're heading down, This time it's not a spiraling staircase, it's just a set of stairs. And Vistra's like talking, just like, you know, you're lucky that you have us here with you guys. You know, last time we was on the dig, a couple of our fellas fell through a ditch. Took us days to get him out. I mean, you would think we... And she stops everybody as you hear a... At the far end of a hallway, you see a massive, hulking beast, or just the tail end of it. Its hind legs and its tail. And then you hear Vonkar once again, very soft-spoken, go, Bullet. Told you. The two silver trolls look at each other, look back at you guys, and say, we got it. Y'all head that way. We'll redirect it. We got our ways. And the professor's like, I should go with them. We need to redirect that thing before it causes the entire church to collapse on us. You keep going.
Professor, with all due respect, what the hell are you going to do about it?
I have some tricks in my sleeve, in my bag. It's okay, I'll be fine. We will catch up.
Alright, don't kill it?
We're not going to, right? And the two silver trolls are like...
Mistake's mostly thinking, like, he specifically shouldn't kill it, because what's that gonna do?
If it's the last person you killed, maybe he doesn't turn into
No, I'm
one,
picturing a
right?
bullet with glasses now teaching you.
So that's why she's just...
Yeah.
That's why she's saying that. He might not process that's why she's
Yeah,
saying
yeah.
that, but that's why she's saying that.
That's fair.
If we're going to be splitting into two groups, it might help if you have this, and Gary's gonna hand Professor Galvan a sending stone.
Beautiful. All right.
And
Perfect. We will keep in touch through this.
all of you stay safe. Good luck.
Vistra doesn't respond. Vonkar just goes, thanks. And the professor just kind of finger over the lips. Be as quiet as you can. And they head in their direction. And you guys have
Two thumbs up.
Yep, Mistake pulls the hood up on her cloak of elven kind.
Nice. And so, as you head down this hallway, it looks a lot like a ruined church with rubble everywhere, cobwebs, and critters running around. And as you turn a corner, you notice something very peculiar. Skulls on the walls.
What kind of skulls?
Humanoid.
Like various humanoid?
You can do an investigation check if you wish.
Hell yeah.
Because I can't tell if a skull has horns or not without investigating.
If it's investigation, that is a 14.
Wow, I did better than Mistake. I got a 25.
Mistake knows that they're not tieflings. They don't necessarily look like anything too exotic. I think Gary immediately, it clicks for him. These are human. This is what a human skull looks like. This is 100% like you maybe in biology growing up in grade school or something. Maybe in the Izzard League somebody had a skeleton, but like you catch on like that. Whereas Mistakes, it takes you a sec.
Mistake is trying to remember what are the key differences between human and elf skulls again?
Mm-hmm.
Trying to like dig through memory because it's been more than a month since she looked that up, so keen mind's not helping her there.
Yeah. So you're all coming around this corner here. And you see not only skulls along the walls, but a rope that has been tied from one wall to the other, and there are several skulls hanging from said rope. Almost like an awning, or like an arch.
Oh, is it like above where people would be walking?
Exactly.
Gotcha, cool.
And hanging from there is also a sign in a language that is unknown to all of you, because this language no longer exists.
Wanna bet?
You know, feel free to torture me as much as you want. I'm ready for it.
Damn right, because I'm gonna use comprehend languages.
Okay.
I think I do technically, if it's written, I have to be able to touch it.
Which
Lift you up.
Yeah.
the skulls are hanging from this rope, and the sign is hanging from the
Oh,
rope.
right.
So,
So, okay.
it is within arm's reach. So Mistake, you know that sign says, "Beware, human scum." As you cast Comprehend Languages and you're able to see this. The rest of you just see a sign and skulls. And furthermore, a long hallway where there appear to be some more skulls over the ground.
Does it legitimately look like they're just like skeletons, whole ass, just... Alright, Mistake will share. It says, "Beware human scum," and this whole thing is really feeling like a trap, so I'm gonna poke around. Maybe I can see anything that might be capable of killing people.
That sounds like an investigation check.
Yeah, it does.
No.
And that's a 10.
And you were looking for...
Traps, basically, because this feels very much like
Yeah,
it is designed to kill humans specifically, like if humans
gotcha,
walk
gotcha.
through it. So Mistake is kind of poking around to see, like, is there anything here that's going to immediately try to kill Gary if he steps through, is what she was trying to find with a 10.
I see, yeah. No, you don't find any immediate danger. It just looks like a long hallway, and there are 3 skeletons on the ground. You also don't see anything coming out of the skeletons. The skeletons just look like they're there.
I would also like to check for traps, because I don't want to, like, make things go on too... Why are you raising your eyebrows at me like that?
Because...
I feel like looking for, like, mechanical traps fits within Gary's wheelhouse without stepping on Mistake's toes.
Sure.
That's my investigation. That's a dirty 20.
Okay. With a dirty 20, as you're walking and you have your dark vision glasses...
I do.
expanding, like making your eyes pop out. The first thing you notice is that there's more writing on the walls here, once again in that weird language. But you know, you may not even pay that any mind as you're
This
getting...
won't help me.
Yeah, no, I know. And it is written in like dirt and like reddish brown paint, which you could make some assumptions there. These skeletons, I think you realize probably the reason Mistake didn't notice anything weird is because the skeletons, they're all just bone. There's one of those bones that's sticking out where it shouldn't. Like, you know what a ribcage looks like. There's a bone there that's not a ribcage. In fact, that's a humerus and a ribcage. And the other 2, similarly, have some bones that have been sharpened that are sticking out. And it's a blink and you miss it.
Like, these are bone arrows? Okay.
In between this writing and these letters, there are tiny little holes. Once again, blink and you miss it. Almost like the writing was there to distract.
What does the writing say?
Oh, right. Says,
Haha, if you can read this, you're dead.
it says, "Death is the only escape."
Oh, comforting. Death is the only escape.
Well, it does seem to shoot the arrows, so...
So is there a way for us to trigger these traps? I don't know, animate I'd say a wardrobe, but I don't want to use up anything to...
Are there like rocks and shit?
Sure. There's rubble.
Unless we
Yeah.
can just straight up disarm it.
Throw one.
Mistake just throws a rock. And as you do, as the rock rolls down the hallway, you just hear boom, 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 as 5 bone darts, quite literally bone that has been carved into a sharp dart.
I don't know that disarmed it, though. That kind of... I mean, it clearly has been triggered before.
Take a second rock and throw it.
It's got to have a limited amount of ammunition. Throws another one.
Boom, boom.
See?
Never mind, that one was just slow.
Okay. Well, the rocks landed there. There seemed safe.
Let's test. Chucks a rock at the seems safe part.
God, you guys are annoying me.
Just making sure it's safe. We're
Sure.
verifying the theory before putting our lives at risk. Were the safe spots safe for the rock? Did the rock survive?
The rock survived. The safe spots appeared to be either literally against the wall, tippy-toeing on the edges, or the darts don't go higher than like 2.5 feet. A little crawl would do it.
Hear me.
Oh, well, you know what? I can solve this. Cost is just going to shrink into a halfling. Extremely short halfling and say, I'll find the safe spots and you just walk behind me.
Okay.
Works for me.
Great.
I love it. I love it so much.
They will take a first step, immediately get their hat shot off,
Yeah.
and then take that, put it away, and then continue doing what they were doing.
Beautiful. Cos, you find along the walls there's more writing.
Mistake's just gonna read all of this as we pass.
Alright, take this damn thing. The writing on the walls.
Yeah. Cursed be the light, never touch the light, never trust the light, and the light is death. So, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, don't go toward it.
I don't know, I mean, the first sign said, beware human scum, so is this one for not the human scum or for the human scum?
Does it look like it's written in blood?
It does.
I could have been left by one of the dying humans.
Okay. I guess I'll trust that. Maybe.
I find it fun that they took the time to make it into a poem.
As
Maybe that's just how they, talked back then.
Maybe.
As you reach the end of this hallway, you reach an opening in the earth that is 25 feet long. It is a ditch. I want to say Cos was looking straight ahead and almost missed the edge, and then you have friends right behind you, and I want to picture it's like that boom, 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 and like,
Yep.
I want you to roll a dexterity saving throw, please, because it's really old and the debris might begin to fall
10.
off the edge. 10?
Yep.
Can do like a
Sleight of hand.
to...
Okay. Halfling Cos
It's not very heavy.
is not very heavy.
That's a 25.
Halfling Cos begins to slip off the edge as the dirt begins to give way, and you realize there are spikes at the bottom of this 25-foot long ditch. But Mistake is quick with the sleight of hand, catches you, pulls you back up.
Thank you.
There are also skeletons down there that have already fallen in.
How deep is this ditch?
It's like 15 feet deep, and there are nothing but spikes down there, all of which appear to be made out of bone or candelabras. They are not swords and daggers. They are very obviously made from materials that were lying around this church.
Scavenged materials?
Scavenged materials, yeah. And the four of you find yourselves here, at the edge of this ditch. What do you do?
Alright, I can't jump that far.
Nor can I. I can grow wings, but I can't fly.
That's a bummer.
I know.
Let's see. Ideas.
Can anybody jump that far?
I can teleport that far.
I mean, it would kind of run me out of supplies, but I could make it so everybody else can jump that far.
We have a pumpkin.
Yeah, but that's not going to be able to drive over it.
Or
It could
can it?
Fly over it.
Right around then, as you guys are discussing, right where Cos was standing. Yeah, you're not very heavy, but that doesn't matter because the floor beneath you sinks just a centimeter, and you hear boom, 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 as a boulder begins rolling down from above. It's coming at you. What do you do?
Pumpkin now.
Unzips his fanny pack
Pumpkin faster!
and pulls out, rubs the pumpkin, throws it into the pit.
As the boulder makes its way down this hallway.
We all grab onto the pumpkin carriage to go across the spikes.
Well, you can't just yet. It's growing and growing and growing into a carriage. What's pulling it?
It's a dragon.
We would like to add a dragon to the dungeon.
It's gonna be the theme
Flying
go.
pigs.
Your face there, it was so earnest.
So it's a pig. The carriage forms, and out of it you just hear. I can't do a pig, and you just hear squealing
I'm pretty sure that's a pterodactyl.
as the carriage hovers. And just to make it fun, it's hovering above the spikes, and you have to jump to it.
That's fine.
As the boulder keeps moving, who jumps first into the carriage?
I'll jump for it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm guessing
Alright,
this is a
acrobatics. Yeah. So Cos, as a halfling, you just jump right through the window of the carriage and land safely on the cushions. How will the rest of you?
I rolled a 10. It's a strong 10.
roll. Is the ground still crumbling?
It is. The three of you jump onto the carriage and hang on to the sides, but your legs are dangling that your feet scrape the spikes.
Ow.
You each take 4 points of damage as your feet get pierced by these spikes, and the boulder falls into the ditch and is stuck there.
Alright, and then we'll take the carriage to the other side.
But you make it safely to the other side, yes.
And then get out because it's way too cramped to take this carriage other places, I think.
Yeah, probably. I mean, if the place is big enough, we can ride the carriage.
Yeah.
Why don't we just leave the carriage there for our return ride?
Yeah.
How does this go away?
It goes
12
away
hours,
at
right?
dawn, yeah.
Yeah,
So it
so-
literally lasts for a while.
We can just leave the carriage there.
I imagine we can dismiss it to bring it with us, because we might not be coming back this way.
But now there's also a nice convenient boulder in the middle of the spike trap.
Yeah.
So if we do go back this way, it's way easier to cross.
We can hop on it.
Okay. And you reach this area of the dungeon. This area is a lot more relaxed. There are bedspreads on the floor,
Yeah.
abandoned, crawling with mice and critters. Not booby-trapped. It is just an open area, and in fact, there's a chest there in the corner, along with the bedspreads. The most sketchy thing you see would be the skeleton that has been chained to the wall at the end of the tunnel that was just left there. And you see by far the most elaborate writing because it comes with a painting. Along this wall here, there's a lot of writing in this unknown language. However, before you even tell the group what it says, along with this entire paragraph of writing, there's a drawing. And this drawing is not just in reddish brown. This drawing is elaborate with powders, paints. It is of a dragon. The dragon seems to be wreaking havoc over a crowd of humanoids. And you realize that the humanoids are very much diverse. Humans, you see some with horns, you see others with like wings,
Pointy ears.
pointy ears.
That's a big one.
Yeah, little ones, little gnomes, goblins, all kinds of humanoids, and they have both carved and painted into this wall, along with all of this writing.
What does all this say?
Well, this one points to the big one. Red is his terrible stare, red are his fatal claws, blue are the scales on his back, from which he summons his cursed magic. Our hope he has slain, our freedom he has taken, only death and darkness await now.
Is that?
It's a terrible.
Galazeth Prismari
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
particularly hated all of the war of the Blood Age, and probably got particularly pissed off at these people.
So he figured that the best way to end the war was to just wipe out one of the sides?
Or both of them, I don't know.
Doesn't really fit with hating the war. I mean, I would think that you would hate the war because of all the death, and then that doesn't seem to be the case.
Maybe he just didn't like it because it was loud or something.
From what I read, he thought of both Wanda and Corey as foolish, reckless mortals who need to be dealt with. So, maybe this was his way of dealing with them. If he hated what they were doing and they wouldn't stop what they were doing, then, well, killing them and their followers is certainly a way to get it to stop.
Well, what about this other side?
I don't
Anything
know,
more
it's
cheerful?
not on my piece of paper.
Is it more cheerful?
May the crimson glaive imprison his dark materials forevermore. Which is interesting.
So, Crimson Glaive sounds like the key thing there.
Yeah, Gwanda's known to unite peoples under the banner of the Crimson Glaive. It wasn't real clear if that was just like a coat of arms or if it was a literal glaive that was red.
Is it possible that that's what we're looking for?
Entirely possible.
I got one right here. We can make it red.
I don't think it
You
works
know
that
that
way.
won't work. Although I love the optimism.
Thank you.
Prison his dark materials forevermore. So it could also be these dark materials we're after.
Possibly.
Gary,
Plus,
you roll a wisdom saving throw while you're down here.
12.
Fails. It's now 13. So, the whispers get louder, Gary, and louder and louder, to the point where you can't ignore it anymore. And what they're telling you is lies. Lies, 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 deceit. This tiefling, you can't trust what she's saying. She probably brought you down here. That's what they do, they trick people. She brought you down here for a purpose. And they just keep badgering you, and this time you can't help it. Part of you starts to believe those voices. Furthermore, I think I'm going to go ahead and say, just as a freebie, around this skeleton, there was another one of those like hanging pieces of parchment. And you don't even know this language, but the voices begin translating it for you. And it says, traitorous human filth. And you remember the skulls on the walls were also human. And you wonder, are you next?
You know, this seems like we found a good amount of information to start. Maybe we should go back now.
We just started.
Yeah, I mean...
Well, I mean, not really, right? We came all the way down here, and we found all this writing.
We're going to need to get Vankar and Bistra's help to get out of here anyways, and they're dealing with the roulette, so...
That's true, we can't get back up, can we?
I'm sure we can call them.
It's true, we do have a sending stone. Are you alright, Gary?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Is there particularly concerned why you want to go back so soon?
No, I just think, you know, we've got a really good starting point here, and we should quit while we're ahead, and come back later.
And go through all that again?
Well, we know what we're doing now.
Look, if you want to go back, you can. But I'm going forward.
Oh, I'm sure that's what you want, right? For me to just go back by myself.
Anyone can go back. If you remember, Gary, I tried to keep all of you out of this. Because I didn't want any of you to get hurt. If you don't want to go forward, I'm not going to force you to. But I have to. And I have friends up there who are risking their lives to help other friends, and I'm not with them, so I can try and fix this mess. So, I'm going to make it worth it.
Gary's gonna kind of shoot pleading looks at the other two.
You can sit in the pumpkin if you like.
You got rid of the pumpkin.
We can bring it back.
No, you can't!
Can't?
No.
Right. No. You can hold.
Do you want me to wait with you?
Yeah, that works.
Okay.
Mistakes in like the next or kind of investigate, like not leaving people behind, but
Peripheral.
looking at.
Sure. Go with the stake.
So, Koss is going to pop a squat essentially where they are, and just kind of like sit with Gary. And they might actually take out their lute and just like start like fiddling a bit to cut through the tension and the silence.
Yeah.
Or find a counter charm to give Gary advantage on saving throws against charm effects.
Yeah, that would work. This would be a charm. So
Flavor-wise,
yeah, the
however you
next
want
time
to
you
do it.
roll.
Yeah.
So for now, you're not feeling great, or you're not
Okay.
feeling very trusting. But next time, you guys are waiting in the bedspread area, the safe area, or what?
Where the dragon mural is, or
Probably there. That seems like the nicest area
Yeah,
to wait.
and I think
There's
that's
art.
also where Gary had this, like, revelation.
Yeah.
So, you know, he wasn't going to keep going forward.
Meanwhile, Mistake and Griff are peeking out around the corner. And yeah, you just see this long hallway where you're standing is a skeleton hanging by cuffs, like hanging from the wall on cuffs. Looks like he was left there. He or she was left there to rot. Furthermore, you do hear at the end of the hallway. You hear the hissing and the crawling, but you can't see anything. You just hear.
Serpents. Why did it have to be serpents?
Rolled an 18 investigation check.
There's a scythe on the floor. The scythe has some chain at the end of it.
On the end of the handle or the end of the blade?
At the end of the handle.
Okay.
Used to hang from something.
So Grip is going to look up and look around to see if there's any other...
You just see chains up high, but you don't see what they lead to. They're just hanging from the ceiling and then kind of disappearing behind the wall.
Can I have it?
Sure.
Okay, that's mine now.
You're carrying that scythe.
Rusted stuff.
Scythe, glaive, how
Yeah.
many other things?
Fanny pack. I also... Oh,
That one
I,
doesn't count.
I have a mace.
So that's what you guys
And
see.
2 daggers.
As Cause and Gary are hanging back. I'm going to allow Gary to make another saving throw if he wishes, and I'm not going to change the DC this time. It'll still be
And
13.
it's with advantage because
and it's
of
with
the counter
advantage,
charm?
yeah.
15.
Cause's lute playing begins to calm you down a little. And the voices get softer, quieter. And then you hear what everybody else hears. The silence. And the faint in the background.
Okay.
Okay.
That helped. Is that a snake that I hear?
Possibly. I've just been kind of focusing on here. Are you good to keep going?
Yeah, we should definitely keep
Okay.
going.
As you stand up, you step on this. A piece of parchment. It's a journal entry. It's a journal page. Gary can see the shapes begin to warp as these voices are translating for you. You're able to at least read some of it.
Creepy.
Yeah.
All hail Golwanda, wielder of the Crimson Glaive. May the Core and his human scum remain powerless from evermore. The Crimson Glaive has saved us, but the great beast of the skies remains. His rage multiplies, his watchful eye grows nearer. Curse the great beast to the pits of the
And what?
just under and then a W.
It cuts off.
And then the next day, the great beast is cruel, merciless, wicked beyond belief. A holy grave he has dug, a grave for the living, a fate worse than death. In our queen we trust. She has saved us before and she will save us again. All hail the Crimson Glaive.
Didn't know that you studied languages.
I don't. I have no idea why I know what that says.
I think let's not question that too much and just we'll let that gift horse lie, I guess.
I see nothing wrong with that in the long run.
We'll handle all of that once we get out. What?
Maybe we don't have to.
I'm assuming there might be like tiles and stuff that are treacherous to step on. So rather than Griff rolling investigation checks, which he's famously not good at, he'd
I mean,
like...
he's done better than mistakes so far.
Well, he's not going to push his luck yet. Can he just throw the scythe and then go on the tiles that it touches?
Assuming that they don't trigger on
Assuming,
his
yeah, if they don't trigger shit.
I like that. Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So you throw the scythe. It lands, in the first half of the hallway. Immediately, 3 scythes fall basically from the walls as they just swing down every 5 feet. And slowly they begin to dangle. With your successful investigation attempt, you've managed to figure out that this entire hallway has scythes in it. Unlike the bone darts, these, once they are triggered, they have to be rehung.
So as they're walking through, he's gonna kick the scythe along the way.
More scythes come out of the wall.
He's just gonna follow that lead,
Yep.
and he's gonna get to here.
Yeah.
And just pick up the scythe and look at Mistake, and wherever you are, he's gonna,
Way across the hallway.
he's gonna look at you and just shrug his shoulders. Come on!
I also want to say, Mistake also found something. Because this place is riddled with garbage. And
Useful garbage.
she also finds a journal entry. There was like another bedspread right next to the skeleton that was hanging from the walls, almost like they were guarding that skeleton. And in that bedspread, there's an old watered skin, like a bunch of stuff that a person might have left behind, along with that page. As Koss and Gary begin to approach.
So I think Mistake has silently just been having a bit of an anxiety attack because of everything that happened on the surface, and then Gary being upset down here and all of her fears that she's about to get all of her friends killed. So she came in here dealing with that. She stepped over to a wall, just feeling kind of lightheaded, difficult to take a deep breath, very tight in the chest. Went to stabilize herself against the wall, and that's when she saw this stuff on the ground and kind of picks it up and reads this to herself. But for the sake of the podcast, and also everyone else near me, it killed them. One blink of an eye and they were gone. Early was Golwander's time, but the core and his human scum attacked first. Our queen's was an act of desperation, a sacrifice. The crimson glaive is hers no longer, taken by the light. Never trust the light means death. We dared not move her remains, the temple has become her grave. But the human scum won't let us near. So I think by the time Mistake finishes reading that, she goes to look up to tell Griff and sees him on the other side and just sort of shrug, with all of these sides just sort of dangling down, still the slowing pendulum of all of these. And Mistake has no concept of what just happened. Then the others rejoin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're going across, you're waiting.
We'll probably check in with them before we go on.
Griff is getting shit done over here.
Yeah.
Can Griff toss the scythe here?
Oh, yeah. There's nothing there. That is a safe spot to be in, but Griff is the first to see the pit. There's a lot more than what I was able to make here. I made this, but...
I want to shoot it with fire.
We'll get to that. Absolutely you can.
Koss is reading the room and just realizing that everybody other than Griff is stressed out.
I mean, you got the angry guy who wants to take his aggression. I was like, okay, we're gonna deal with this.
Are you okay?
We're okay. Let's keep on moving.
You sure?
I mean, I can't promise it's not gonna get worse.
Guys, you're snakes!
You really don't have to.
And scorpions and spiders
and scorpions and spiders!
Griff, why are you so excited about that?
Because he could set them on fire?
Listen, I asked before if I was going to be more of a liability than a help, and you said that having somebody with magical artifact knowledge would be helpful. So as long as that's true, I will do my best to continue on the mission.
Alright, okay, as long as you're sure.
And then a firebolt is shot.
Oh, mine. I'm sorry, I thought it was at me.
No. You said you wanted to shoot. I was like, yes.
Yeah!
The rest of you just hear the fire. You see Griff, and the source of the light is coming from Griff as he's shooting down at this pit. Yeah, a lot of these critters start shriveling and stuff, and you might even feel a sense of superiority as you're down here.
He's smiling.
Yeah, absolutely. And you realize you're stepping on a note that you don't understand, so I'm going to put it upside down.
He's not paying attention to that. Yeah.
The rest of you see a note under Griff's boot.
Well, at least he's having fun.
Stretch.
I mean, rejoin him and just... Griff, can you just lift
what? No, it's
Thank
snakes!
you. No, keep at it, you're doing great.
Firebolt is a cantrip, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're shooting down. Absolutely.
Pew, 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 pew. A peace treaty was signed between Xandril's scum and Golwander's riders. Today we join forces to find escape. His apprentice and her priest know the ways of the mana. There may be some hope left, but the human build won't speak to us. Scorn us they do, steal from us they do, blame us for their woes they do. That sounds familiar. Peace will not last this way, peace never lasts. And then 2 days later, peace was broken. His apprentice attacked first, killed 3 of our own. Not the priest, must retaliate, must find escape before we run out of food. Also, by the way, this is Gowanda's grave. Final resting place, we found it. Congratulations.
Oh, good. We're looking for Gowanda.
Apparently. Our queen's was an act of desperation, a sacrifice, so whatever she did, it was like some grand last stand sort of thing. The crimson glaive is hers, no longer taken by the light. Never trust the light means death. Oh!
Oh?
Is the light a snarl?
Oh.
Oh.
Oh!
Did Gary share his note, by the way?
Yeah, he would have shared his note.
Okay, I think we're starting to put some pieces together. How's the path looking, Griff?
How's it looking?
Most of the critters have shriveled up into ash.
Alright, hang on, I'm gonna stop!
I mean, you could keep going. The sand isn't entirely glass yet.
Okay. Ah!
As you finish...
I have made glass.
No, actually. The snakes and the scorpions have been killed. Most of
There were scorpions too!
Yeah. Most of the spiders have been killed too, except whatever critters are left are crawling away up the walls and getting away from the fire. And there's a pile of ash on top of this pit. I should have mentioned before, but there was a rope that you could have used to get from one end to the other, but it was so shriveled up and old and obviously made of humanoid hair. And
Upsetting.
yeah.
Griff's hand is smoking.
I feel like Griff would have burned off that rope too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it smelled like sulfur.
Yeah.
Whoa.
He's gotten rid of the immediate threat. What do? There's still this pit.
I guess we'll just walk across.
Chuck
Who goes
the
first?
siren. Chuck the siren.
Do you do that before Cos walks across?
I mean, I just said I guess we'll just walk across.
So I want to make this happen. You jump in.
And then a
This
scythe.
is like happening simultaneously. Mistake learned from Griff and goes to chuck it in. Cos didn't see any of that and goes to just step in, so they both kind of land around the same time.
Is Cos still a halfling?
I see no reason why they wouldn't be.
Beautiful. Cos begins walking, and the scythe begins sinking. And then Cos also begins sinking.
Oh, no.
Oh, that's not good.
Oh, okay, cool. Growing taller.
You grow taller, but your ankles and part of your feet are sunken into the ground.
Griff, pull me out.
Yep.
Griff, pull me out.
Reaching down to help.
You pull Cos out of this, but you realize that this wasn't just a critter pit. That sand down there is it's quick.
I lost your scythe, sorry. We can go get you another one. Just gotta tear it down from the ceiling.
Oh, man, that was my favorite one.
It was your only one.
And my favorite.
We don't have another pumpkin carriage, so we're kind of back to the whole everybody except one person can jump, but I'll be out of supplies, or...
Can you actually detach one of those sides for me? I imagine that these sides are old, and so they're not actually super sharp so much as pointy and heavy, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
So if the blade is dull, what Cos is going to do is they're going to grab the scythe and animate that into a hovering object. And then they are going to stand in the crook of the scythe and just say, one at a time, we'll get across.
Brilliant.
Damn.
So like
He's surfing
the
on
scythe
it.
is upside down, and I'm just standing on the crook on the inside of it.
So, like,
like
set on the
Mario-
flat part
yeah.
of an L or
Oh,
a J.
Yeah.
I see. Oh, you little devil. Okay. No, you're the little devil. You're the little fae. I'm gonna have each of you, since you're taking turns, since you're more or less in control of it, it'll be a DC 10. Probably acrobatics as you're trying to surf. So for jeez. All right, I guess Griff goes first.
16.
Beautiful. You've barely done animating it when Griff is like, all right, let's go.
Kicks Cos off of it. Okay, I guess you can go first.
Move over.
Love your enthusiasm today.
Hey, I got the snakes!
You did really good.
Griff serves over, manages to get to the other side safely. Who's next?
I'll go next.
All right, Cos is going next.
Yeah, I made it 11.
All right.
Nice.
Cos surfs over next as a taller version of themselves now. And then the scythe goes back. Who's next? Mistake or Gary?
Gary, do you want to... So you're not left alone on this side?
Yeah, that seems to make sense. That's a flat 10.
Nah.
You
Nice,
make it!
Gary.
You just make it. It's the wobbliest by far.
One
And-
more wobbly than us.
A copper falls out of your pocket, or a couple of coppers fall out of your pocket, and they just sink into the quicksand. And finally, mistake, which
Less money.
That is an 8.
oh,
I think Mistake's
Goodness.
hands are still shaking from like the anxiety attack, so she just really can't hold on.
yeah. The scythe is being as steady as Cos can make it, but Mistake is just not in a good place. It's very jittery, and she slips off the edge. You're trying to grab onto the edge, but it's still, I mean, it's not that sharp, but it's still, when you're grasping on it, you have your full body weight.
Yeah, that's
your
gonna
fingers
hurt.
are starting to bleed a little. Does anybody do anything to help?
Griff would want to maybe run and tackle Mistake out of the air and like action figure her to the other side.
To the other side?
Yeah. Yeah.
That sounds.
That's a...
I didn't say it was a good idea. It's the one that came into his
Yeah.
mind, which is my mind.
Yeah. I mean, it's really good comic
fun.
book, but D&D wise, that's tough.
fucking cool.
Griff
though.
will throw his rope
Yeah.
from his Dungeoneer's
There
back
we go. All right, you can
Classic.
you can certainly do that. Griff just like pulls out some rope and just immediately tosses
From the
it
fanny
in.
pack.
Sure. I'm gonna say that Mistake is able to grab the rope. Maybe your ankles sink in a little, but between your friends pulling, you're able to make it up the edge of this pit and crawl to safety, just barely. You also drop a couple of coppers, which, you know, might hurt just as much as Gary, because Gary's also broke.
Gary's not that broke. Gary has a lot of money right now.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Just
Damn it.
stingy.
Yeah, Gary's still stingy. But Gary has a good amount of money. He's not broke.
Gary has broke instincts.
Yeah.
And so, you make it to safety and realize that that hallway is a dead end. And not only is it a dead end, it is full of skeletons. In a way that you would imagine this is just a place where they dumped bodies.
Fuck!
There has to be a way through this.
Griff is looking for something to explode.
Can we do some investigations?
Sure.
Can
That's a
I investigate to find a hidden door?
Yes. Griff, you technically rolled first. What were you doing?
I rolled a 10 for looking for something explodable.
Single spider is walking along the wall.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, it is a ton of rubble, and there's nothing explodable other than spider webs. It's flammable.
I rolled a 21 on just kind of where to go. But I would like to see mistakes roll before you give me anything for that 21, because I feel like that could go even better.
I'm considering how I rolled. I don't know. Have I rolled above a 10?
You have.
Oh yeah, for the dex save, I did good on that. 27.
There
That
it
went pretty
is.
good.
Okay,
Yay.
okay.
And
And you specifically were looking for a way out of here.
Yes. So
Ah.
I had advantage specifically from Dungeon Delver as the feat, and I have advantage on perception investigation checks to detect hidden doors.
Nice.
Okay, that's great.
I got it from class.
I do want to give Gary something, though, for that 21. So, among this pile of skeletons, you find one other note. And actually, you know what? You find two notes.
More creepy writing.
It's like the same page, but they are dated. Would you like to tell the group what they say?
Yeah. So this one's from the 3rd. The way of blood is not over. War continues below earth. And then there's a drawing of the layout of the Holy Temple of the Seasons, which is presumably this temple, where Golwanda followers have their territory marked in what might be blood, and Xandril disciples' territory is marked in probably dirt or soot. Writing continues. Safety is an illusion. Use what we have. We must. Protect, reinforce, advance slowly. Reclaim her grave, that which is refused to us. Death for the human scum. I think they've kind of driven that point forward enough at this point. From the 19th, Xandril's scum attacked snake pits. We fought back. Forces weakened. No more food, but their own flesh. Ugh. From the 28th. Too many days without food, gods forsaken us. Curse the great beasts of the skies. Today we pick the name of one of our own from the cauldron. It is that or death.
What year was that?
1265.
Okay.
So Gary reveals that. And you realize that unlike the other skulls that you found chained to the walls, which were human, the skeletons here in this corner are not. They are leaning against the wall, sitting, some of them, with holy symbols carved onto their skulls, the kind which you would carve on a sacrifice. And lastly, mistake. As all of this is sinking in and what really happened here, there's a drawing in this wall. The drawing is of a temple. You see pews and humanoids, and right at the top, a sphere with little lines, almost like what a little kid would draw on a sun, like it's glowing. And that little sphere, like the rest of it is carved and painted, but that sphere, the carving is very deep.
She makes sure nobody is in like direct line of it, stands like the side of it, and then uses like the back of the dagger to press it in, possibly with mage hand if that can apply enough force, just out of an excess of caution.
And the sphere sinks into the wall. And that wall opens as a cloud of dust erupts. And I think that's a good place to end for the night before we head into the last room. Hello everyone! Thank you for joining us again this week. This episode was recorded in Watertown, Massachusetts, also known as the traditional land of the Pecosset and Nanantum peoples. I'd like to give a huge thank you to all of the talented musicians that helped bring this podcast to life with their amazing music. We've provided a link to their web pages in the description. I would also like to thank our talented players, Tyler Rubin, Rin Garnett, Michael Yang, and Nikki Aguilar-Thompson. This story would not be the same without their wonderful creativity. I've been your host and DM, Alex Aguilar-Thompson, and I hope to see you here again next week for another episode of Roleplay Radio.